Hello, today I'm going to explain my Python program that checks the nature of numbers. First, we're going to be talking about a factor. When we talk about a factor, we're talking about a number that can divide another number and we have nothing left over. For example, when we say 12, we can divide 12 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. So all those are all factors of 12. So now let me walk you through my code. On line 3, here's my line 3. You can see it says I created get factors here. So we can think of this like a recipe. So the recipe needs one ingredient. This ingredient is called a number. So this is the number that I want to check. So for example, if we want to check the factors of 12 here, we'll write 12, we'll input 12, or we'll input 16 when we are done with our program. And then on line 5, here is my line 5, I made an empty list which is called factors. So this is like an empty shopping basket. And on line 6, I tell the computer check every number from 1 all the way up to the number that I gave you. If I gave you number 12, you will have to check all the number from 1 up to number 12. So this is how the computer is going to check all the factors of that particular number. On line 7, we use the percentage sign. This checks if there is any left over when we divide. If there is no remainder, it means that it divides evenly. If yes, then on line 8 here, on our line 8, I put that number into my shopping basket using append. And on line 9, we return those factors. This sends back the complete list of the factors that we found. Next, we go on to line 11. On line 11, we have another recipe called has a perfect square root. This checks if the number has a perfect square root, like number 9, 16, or 25. We can input 9 there, we can input 16, or we can input whatever number we want to check if it's got a square root. On line 16, we use the math square root to find the square root. Then on line 17, we check if that root times itself gives us back the original number. If yes, then it will return true on line 18, or else if it doesn't give us the original number, then it will give us false on line 20. We move on to line 23. I have check odd or even numbers. This one is simple. On line 24, we check if this number, if a number is an odd number or even, using the modulus operator. So in this case, if there is no remainder, then it says it's an even number. Or else, if there is a remainder, then it will tell us that it will print that the number is odd. Then we just scroll up a bit. We move on to finally on line 30. We are going to the main. This is the brain of our program. It asks the user to enter a number. It asks the user to enter a number safely, then it calls all 3 recipes we just talked about above. It shows odd or even and all the factors if it has got a perfect square root. This is all the program, how it's going to talk about. First, if it will tell us if we'll ask for the whole number, and then it will, if the value is incorrect, it will tell you to enter a valid whole number. And then we move down here, it will check if the number is odd or even. It will check if the number has a perfect square root. And then it will also check if the number does not have a perfect square root. And then on our line 52, we are given a choice. We are asked if we would like to enter another number. So if we enter yes, then it will continue. Or else, if you enter no, then it will say false, and then it will say thank you for applying. So this is the program that I created. Now let's test and see if our program works. We come here, we run the program. So there it is. It will say enter an even number. So I'll type 16 and press enter. It says that 16 is an even number, and then it gives us the factors of 16, which are 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16. And then it also tells us that 16 has a perfect square root. So it asks here if I would like to continue. I'll click yes and press enter. And then it will say I must enter a whole number again. So now let's type 10 and we press enter. It tells us that 10 is an even number. Here are the factors of 10, 1, 2, 5, and 10. So then it tells us that 10 does not have a perfect square root. So it has given us the factors of it. It has told us that it's not an even number, and it has told us that it does not have a perfect square root. Then now it loops, it asks, would you like to continue? So now I'll type n and press enter, and then it prints out for me, thank you for playing. Thank you very much.